We have a little bit of a challenge because as fast as the Internet of Things is accelerating, in order for me to get through this presentation in 10 minutes or less, yeah, I'm going to have to go even faster. TrackX is a cloud-based provider of asset tracking and inventory management solutions focused on returnable, high-value, and industrial assets. We provide this highly configurable, enterprise, very scalable platform that offers very significant visibility, improved utilization, analytics, and executable business intelligence to, as Keith mentioned, a growing number of Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 accounts that generates a very significant and very rapid ROI for these accounts. The way we do that is we assign tags to each of these individual assets that make up very significant operational and critical processes within an enterprise. We collect information from this wide array of tagging technologies using a proprietary infrastructure management platform that allows us to upload that data to a cloud, leverage it, analyze it, and then provide value to our customers in the form of both two-dimensional and three-dimensional modeling and a variety of workflows that are very significant in improving operational processes for these accounts. Some of the assets we track you'll be familiar with, and it's amazing to me. I spent 30 years in transportation and logistics, warehousing, distribution, all of that, and it's incredible to me that a lot of the processes that typically are associated with high value and returnable and industrial assets are still manual. So some of the assets we track are plastic pallets and kegs and synthetic rubber bins and horticultural racks and agriculture bins and linens and towels and IT assets, trailers and trucks for such companies as Pepsi and Frito-Lay, Tyson Foods, horticultural racks for one of the largest renters and lessors of horticultural racks in North America. A wide variety of assets, and when you think about it, every industry has assets that need to be tracked like this. Typically, the way they've tracked those is through two-way radios and clipboards and manual processes, which are very error-prone and subject to a lot of inefficiencies, don't provide real-time data, and the data they typically provide are captured on manual records that are never utilized, that never surface again. If we can take all the data around these flow of assets, we can take all the data around the labor and operational processes typically associated with these assets, we can drive operational efficiencies for large enterprises that the industries that we're deploying this solution to have never seen before. That's what we're doing within TrackX. What enables this is this plug-and-play infrastructure management platform that allows us to take a wide variety of tag technologies, RFID, passive RFID, active RFID, Bluetooth, low energy, ultra wideband, GPS, and a wide array of sensor technologies that are emerging as a result of all this hype around the Internet of Things and all the investment going into the Internet of Things. We're able to utilize these not just within one instance for our customer, but we're able to simultaneously integrate all this wide variety of tags and sensor technology simultaneously to be the high-value, low-cost provider of solutions in industries that are desperate to have better control over inventory. If we can track these assets, we can manage the inventory in ways that, again, that these companies haven't been able to see before. This plug-and-play infrastructure management platform that allows us to read all these tags is really, it's a patented technology that we developed over the last couple of years. It supports mobile devices, it supports fixed readers in ceilings. If we had readers in the ceiling of this room right now, and all you were tagged assets, I'd be able to see not only everybody in this room, but I'd be able to look at any movement for anybody that moves more than 12 inches. So being able to provide customers that degree of granularity, that degree of visibility to their assets in conjunction with business workflows is extremely significant, and again, allowing them to capture much more efficiency within an enterprise that has had no visibility to these previously. All this data from the proprietary infrastructure management platform and all these tagged assets goes into our cloud-based platform, where we have a very comprehensive analytics capability that combines not only turns this massive amount of data into meaningful business intelligence, meaningful information, but combines it with workflows and workflow configurations, event management, alert notifications, allows us to respond immediately to this real-time data so we can drive decisions around the flow of assets that eliminate their risk of getting lost or stolen or misplaced. I'll promise you something with all my years in transportation. If an asset is sitting idle for an extended period of time, it will get lost, it will get stolen, it will disappear, especially assets like beer kegs. Beer keg costs $130, right? Has a salvage value of like $68. So it has value to someone if it's sitting there and not being controlled. We control those assets and eliminate shrink, loss, and theft in high valued assets and inventory. So what does all this mean? It means that across a growing number of industries, and hopefully after this presentation you'll see that every industry has opportunities for this enterprise scalable technology. Today we deliver solutions around this technology in the areas of high valued asset tracking. This is like tracking all the IT assets and all the circuit boards and all the environmental chamber activity for companies like Juniper Networks. Manufacturing work in process tracking, another solution. Pepsi has tens of thousands of vending machines. We track the repair, refurbishment through right now one of 25 potential refurbishment centers for Pepsi nationwide. Yard management, we're doing work with companies like Tyson Foods and Pepsi and Toyota, some very significant accounts. One of the things you keep in mind when you look at our numbers that I'll get to in a second is we're just at the tip of the iceberg with these accounts. We've done 1 or 2 implementations, and I was mentioned to a gentleman earlier, it's like going bowling. If you hit the head pin and you get the first couple successfully implemented, all the rest will fall, right? So we're starting now to accelerate deployments and being asked by our customers to accelerate deployments across their entire enterprise, which is very exciting for us. Represents a different set of challenges, but it's very exciting. We also have returnable, reusable asset tracking. You know, again, the horticultural racks, we'll give an example of that. Inventory management is another industry solution. Inventory management, if you looked at any TrackX news lately, you've seen a release on an automobile retail, online retail company. That company is one of Forbes' top 5 most exciting companies in North America. We're tracking all their vehicle inventory, and it was a deal that we won very quickly, and we have to have 20 locations implemented by the end of November. So very, very quick. And then if you take all those together, what I love being a transportation guy is all of them together with a few other capabilities form a supply chain management offering, which many of our enterprise accounts are very, very interested in. So a good example of our tracking capabilities, if you look at this one example I have on the screen, this is a horticultural company. They have about 800,000 racks. So in the springtime, when you go into Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, and you buy plants off the garden centers, off those racks are all tracked by TrackX. This started as an inventory management requirement to essentially eliminate the disparity or the disagreements that existed between the grower community and the rack provider regarding invoices. If you can't prove that I have those racks, I'm probably not going to pay you for them. That's how it started. What it turned out as is to be an industry solution that not only manages the location and inventory of these racks, but manages 100% of their operations. The only other system they use now, to give you an idea of our scalability, is their APGLAR, their financial system. Everything else, their inventory systems, the warehouse systems, their dock systems, carrier systems, grower systems, are all handled by TrackX, spanning 57 depot locations, extending to 41,000 retailers, and handling about 2,400 growers at this particular point in time. Today, instead of sending people out to do inventory in those facilities, they hit one button and they have a real-time inventory of 100% of the racks in all those depot locations. Very significant implementation. Oh, by the way, this may be the largest active tag implementation in the industry. Yard management, really rapidly growing segment of our business. This is tracking trailers inside of distribution and warehouse environments. We do that using a combination of various technologies. So, as I mentioned, we're hardware agnostic. We use a very inexpensive passive tag on trailers because companies like Frito-Lay, companies like Tyson Foods, they don't own all their trailers. They use third-party carriers. They don't want to put a $100 tag on these trailers. This costs us about $4 a tag. We put it on their trailers. That gives us the ability to identify those trailers. We utilize a GPS solution on the shunt unit that moves these trailers around the yard to provide a location. This technology is so sophisticated that we can now offer this in a real-time trailer location as that shunt unit is driving around the yard at 70 miles an hour, we can position all those trailers in the yard. So that guy's working all day. He's taking 100% real-time perpetual inventory of everything in the yard and everything on those trailers in the yard. High-valued assets, Juniper Networks, good example. We started tracking circuit boards through the manufacturing process, and now we track all their IT assets in their lab environments. We start tracking a lot of their equipment, calibration equipment in real time throughout their campus environments. And we end up tracking a lot of their people and equipment in and out of their environmental shake, break, and drop facilities. Very interesting example of high-valued assets. So, how does this work for us? This is exciting to us. The revenue model, we generate about $75,000 to $100,000 in hardware within each of our installations, about $65,000 in services, and our average software licensing is a very significant recurring revenue model for TrackX. It's about $3,500 per facility per month. So it scales very nicely. Our revenue scales really quite nicely. Very low churn rate, very minimal support for our customers. We have an average growth rate of 34%, and we continue to really look at significant growth within our current accounts. We have projected revenue this year, 2016, of about $2.5 million. So we're excited about the growth coming from $1 million only 2 years ago. So, really, TrackX has a strong team, a very high margin recurring revenue model, a very significant and growing number of Fortune 500 accounts, the strongest intellectual property portfolio around technology in the industry, and within our current accounts, some expansion capabilities that extend beyond $16 million within current accounts and about $30 million of opportunity in the pipeline. So with that, I'd like to thank Keith. I'd like to thank all of you for listening to me at the end of the day, and look forward to hopefully seeing you again soon.